Hello everybody. Today I'm gonna present you my CI Gladiator Blade Flurry build. I personally like this a lot, this build, because it's I've not seen anyone do this, and it's pretty strong in general. It's certainly the tankiest build I ever played in Path of Exile. So and to get into it, why Gladiator? Um, I wanted to utilize this node here, gratuitous violence, which basically makes enemies who bleed explode for 10% of their max health as physical damage. And I wanted to scale this physical damage as much possible through physical damage nodes, general damage, and area damage, and I'm also using this unique claw Scourge called Scourge, which makes minion damage increase your damage as well. So that also scales this gratuitous violence damage. So in total, I have around 300% increased damage, I believe. Don't get me wrong, I've not done the math for a while now, but um, so basically, they explode for 40% of their maximum health when they die, which is really, really good for clear speed. Um, and it's also the super tanky because I also get all these block nodes and block chance. So basically, with Painforged up and Storm Shield up, which is the buff I do through cast when damage taken, I have 77% block chance and spell block chance, and that's insane defense. Um, it's really hard for me to die. And honestly, the only weakness I can think of in this build is that its single target damage is not that great, which really makes it a pain to kill Shaper and all those end bosses. So you could kill them. I tried Shaper a couple times, but I was just he could never kill me. But the room was just filled of shit, and I could not go anywhere, and I didn't have enough DPS, and I don't know. I didn't feel like investing more in my character, but I got him to level 90, and the main idea behind it is that block is a stupid broken mechanic once you get a lot of it, and but block is normally balanced because you have low health pool, so things can one-shot you. But CI gives you a huge health pool. As you can see, I have basically 10k health, and that just basically means that you can't die most of the time. It's impossible. As for passive tree, I started through these nodes. I just want to get the fuck out of this place, basically. The only reason we're taking it is because this node and the block chance gives a ton of block. Don't get me wrong. Also, I think interesting is I took these two nodes before, Blood in the Eyes, but it turns out these two nodes give you more damage overall because 80%. Well, normally you get like between 10 and 20 block stacks in when you're AoEing any pack, basically, which is already between 80 and 100 something damage. And also you get a 80% increased damage when you block a unique enemy attack, which means basically when you're fighting uniques. Yeah, so that's a lot of extra damage that you don't get with Blood in the Eyes. And we have enough bleed chance because we are using basically the base 25% from this passive, and then on the gear we're using Void Art, which gives a 50% chance to cause bleeding. So we have 75% chance to cause bleeding, and that is more than enough. So the idea behind the base, like the damage of this build, is we scale bleeding and poison. and base damage and big explosions. So yeah, it's pretty nice. I went outside here. I got the block nodes. Funnily enough, I use and convert Dex to intelligence because Dex is really crappy stats in general. It just gives a little bit of evasion, which is and accuracy, but it's not that great. But by this jewel here, all these nodes become intelligence. Even this one, the Art of the Gladiator, which is really nice because it gives nice attack speed, which is worth for 1 point. They all become intelligence, and that makes it like 25% maximum energy shield just by this jewel. So it's pretty nice, a jewel, I think, from my experience. So I go down and I solve my many issues by grabbing these 2 nodes. Well, basically this 1 node is enough to sustain energy. We do get a dirty technique, so we have I believe 55% chance to poison on bleeding enemies, which is okay damage, I guess. I just put 1 point in iron reflexes here. This is because before I was using Grace Aura, and after a while I realized that I was impossible for me to die, so why am I even using Grace Aura? I had like 8k armor with Grace Aura, and well, I still have some armor without it. I have 1600 or something like that. But yeah, that's also because we're grabbing unwavering stance, which makes evasion useless. So converting evasion into armor is also pretty nice in general. So I think it's worth that 1 point there. So yeah, we travel here. We grab the block nodes here. Very efficient, increased defense. Grab jewel thing here. And we grab here a couple of block nodes with increased defense from shield. What's very interesting is we have like 200% increased defense from shields, which makes our how's it called? Which makes the shield give a lot of ES, and that's why I'm using a high base ES shield. As you can see, 531 energy shield and 31 block chance. And this basically, if I take it off, basically a 4k energy shield from 1 item. It's pretty ridiculous. But I was using Aegis Aurora. It even got the skin of my previous Aegis Aurora. But it was pointless because you just like having block and leech is enough. You don't need anything else. This was just overkill, and having more base energy shield is very nice to avoid one-shots. Like volatiles, it's pretty hard for them to kill you, and that's pretty nice. Like most melee, like most life builds have problems with one-shot mechanics. But yeah, back to the build. We go through here. We go through this. Grab Bell Pact and Ghost Reaver, and that just makes you, that's just OP with energy shield, so why not? It's a nice combo. We go through the physical nodes here. Physical node skills are the explosions and our base damage and our bleed damage, so it's pretty nice. These 2 points are also very efficient, so also grab them there. I went through the ES nodes here. I grabbed all these physical nodes because they double dip as well, or triple dip in this case. Initial damage, bleed, and explosion. It's really good nodes. Plus 5% extra damage as chaos damage. I grab CI inoculation here. Grab Jewel here. We go through here, grab the area, grab the fast nodes, grab the ES, and that's basically the build. It's not much else to it. It's level 90, like I said. For the bandits, I did skill point, physical damage, and then skill point. I didn't bother with frenzy charges and all that crap because it's just situational damage, and I don't care about situational damage. I only want single target damage for this build, to be honest, because we have way too good clear speed already. So onto the gear and the links. We use Scorch Claw with typical whirling blades, 4 to 5 faster attacks combo that everyone uses. Oh, I'm having here a FPS drop. Okay. Oh, well, rip. So when you're recording, you have a high chance to disconnect. Well, I really like the build in general. I also mentioned the links are Blade Fury, melee physical damage, and then melee physical damage on full HP, which are always SCI, so that's just extra. And then Ink AoE, which I swap for a conk for a single target. Then added chaos and void manipulation. Added chaos does give a lot of damage, and void manipulation double dips on your chaos damage plus your poison damage. So it's basically assassin, but as gladiator, with less damage but more survival. It's probably I would play this in hardcore if I ever play hardcore, because it just sustains itself. Use reckoning with a lot of damage, which means that just every time they hit you, you just leech back passively with reckoning, and you can barely ever die because of that. Just passively get health back, and because of the high block and stuff, it's no problem. But even with map mods, I can even do a physical reflect and all that kind of crazy stuff, because I just block all my damage back, and it's just ridiculously good build in that sense. The only map mods I would avoid would be reduced block chance, because holy crap, that reduces your block chance by more than 50%, and that just means that you're super squishy when that happens. And I think that's basically it. Oh, what the fuck? I can't get in. What? And yeah, it can run physical reflect, elemental reflect, any damage reductions. Another thing about this build is that it it doesn't get resolute technique, so we have to get accuracy in that sense. But that's not too bad, I guess. Only when you get like blinded and stuff, you're gonna miss a lot, which just feels real bad. Like auras, we will use discipline and hatred. Hatred just for damage. Discipline because CI builds always use the discipline. Holy crap, this internet, dude. It's probably bugging out. No, thank you. Oh boy. For gear, other special stuff is the anvil. We use corrupted one with 4% chance implicit to block, plus 8% on the amulet, which means it gives 12% block, which is insane for one item. It makes capping block really easy. We use the avoid hard, like I mentioned before. For belt, I'm just using a rustic stash for the physical damage, which triple dips for this build, and basically has some resists on it. For boots, I just have high ES and resists, no movement speed because we whirling blades. Whirling blades is pretty fucking fast already. For helm, I still miss like a Blade Fury damage enchantment or area damage. If I would continue playing this build, I would probably invest in it. I'm just using a 350 ES helm with some accuracy at the moment, with basically. The other ring is just high resist ring with high ES. If I could, I would probably get steel ring with extra physical damage just to get more DPS. But I need to resist, so yeah. The shield I think I already mentioned is just high ES with 1 resist. And that's it. And gloves. I could be using high 200 ES gloves, but instead I took these Skull Care Spike gloves, just armor, no ES. 16% attack speed, 19% melee damage, 380% accuracy, cult resist, and minions deal increased damage, which affects us because of Scorch Cloud, which we mentioned before. Minion damage like quadruple dips because also does poison, so it's probably the best stat you want. Like that's why they also put these. Oh well, I don't have these 2 points yet, but if I level to 92, I probably invest into these 2 points first for minion damage. And for other links, we use Reckoning on our gloves with melee physical damage on full life, Reckoning and Conk effect, which makes it hit for an average of 4k damage. You use a Wither Totem with faster casting, Spell Totem, and increased duration. On the helm we use Hatred, Discipline, Enlighten, and Vaal Discipline. Enlighten is just a bonus, you don't need it for it at all, I just had it, so why not. On our weapon we use Whirling Blades, Fortify, and faster attacks. And on our shield we use cast when damage taken level 1 with punishments, curse, which curses enemies, and when they attack you they give you a massive damage. And Tempest shields for the 3% block chance buff it gives, which makes us have 77% block, which is amazing. For flasks, I really don't need any of these. I just have granite. I think Lime's Roar is probably needed because it knocks back enemies and it's a nice defense. Plus, it makes your bleeding do more damage because when they move, that actually does damage. If they don't move, it barely does any damage. At series, Promise is just nice, and I also have a Sin's Rebirth. It's just a bonus because chaos damage also increases our poison damage, and if we add all of these 4 flasks together, we probably have like 6k average damage. Pretty nice, especially when it double dips and stuff. And we also use Basalt Flask with bleed immunity and a Quartz Flask with freeze immunity because we need those 2. And the other flasks are just damage flasks, and I think that's basically the build. And I would like to show you some mapping, but I don't think this PC is letting me. It's constantly disconnecting me from the game. I think I'll just cut this video here. Thank you for watching, and have a good day, Excels. Yeah.